Hey man, okay, so for this one I just wanted to go over a few spots in the score just to be really clear about what I'm asking for. So the first one I guess is measure 22. I have this harmonic that's like an F natural and I say it should produce a ninth harmonic, a sounding E, and it's on the D string. Um, I have to admit, I don't know if it's actually like really an F natural or maybe it's like a little flat, but um, there it is. That's what I want. That's the pitch. I think it's an F natural. I mean, because that's the F sharp, and just a little flat is that beautiful high E, which is the ninth harmonic. And then you go a little flat to get the multiphonic, and then you end up at the D. So that's what happens at that spot. You get that nice E, little flat, harmonic, into the D. Obviously, it's a little harder to do that in the right time. But that's the spot I'm looking for. So I just wanted to mention that because I'm not sure if it's really an F natural. It's just kind of in the ballpark. Let's go to ballparking it. Then of course at measure 27, I've got these super high harmonics on the G string. Now look, I know these harmonics, those super high ones are like really tenuous, and I'd actually, it's okay if you don't get the specific one. I mean, it's fine if you're not actually getting the notes I have. I'd like you to try to, but if you don't, it's really just the gesture of like a really high one. It's just the gesture that kind of is outlined in the contour, really. I gave you specific harmonics. This is again talking about measure 27, that C sharp to the G. But I know that's up there. It's like you move your thumb a millimeter and it's a different harmonic. So I get that that's really shaky, but it's really just getting the contour of that. And if you can get the exact notes, hey, that's awesome. That'd be sweet. But if not, just getting the contour of a really high harmonic that goes up to an even higher one and then slides down. Now the final one, that G, that's easy. You can get that reliably. So that final one where it finally ends up the G in measure 29, I think you can get that one. Yeah. Oh, okay. So then at measure 32, right after the horizontal shake, I have this gesture where it's like I have you mute the open strings, and then you sort of under one bow, going down with a heavy pressure, and it's just a little noise effect that I'm thinking of. Obviously, you could do it better than I can, but that's the idea. It's not really a pitch sound. It's just a noise sound. And yeah, I do want it really close to the bridge because I want that higher pitch sound. That kind of thing. Anyway, so I just want to be clear about that. Let's see about the next page. Oh yeah, let me mention. So there's a one bit where it says where I have you starting out bowing on the bridge on the D string, and this is all under one bow. This is measure 34 to 35, and then you have the pressure triangle, and then you sort of go to the G string. So basically, what I'm actually imagining is you start off on the D string on the bridge. Now, when you bow directly on the bridge, that's another sound I haven't talked about. As you add more pressure, you just get a really high squeaky sound as you add pressure. But what I'm thinking about in this gesture is you start from nothing, you stay on the D string, and as the pressure gets bigger, you get the squeak, then you kind of slip off. You slip off to the G string, really swoop on. That kind of thing. Sort of. It's not quite in time, but that's the idea. You start on the D string, on the bridge, get the squeak, add the pressure, slip off to the G with the pressure, and then you do the rest of the gesture as it's notated. But that's what that is about. Anyway, the more pressure you get, I want that scratch, growl. Yeah, like when you actually when you get off the bridge, it should be the max pressure, so you get that nice scratchy sound, which is what I'm going for. Anyway, you can do it better than me probably. Tailpiece, that's straightforward. Oh yeah, okay. Here's a sound. Measure 3940, measure 41. I've got you bowing behind the bridge, starting at the bridge, going to the start of the tailpiece with that pressure triangle. So this gives a really nice crunchy sound. So I do specifically say on the A string, which is what I want, and make sure you can see this. And with a lot of pressure, I mean, it's like the horizontal bow, but it's behind the bridge, and it's with a lot of pressure, and it just gives you a more intense, noisy, scratchy sound. That's it, yeah. I want that deep one. Oh, right, because you know what? This is why I wanted to mention it. Because actually, I do want you're kind of bowing normally, but also moving down as you bow, and that's what gives me the nicer sound. That's it. That's the one I want. Yeah. Yeah, that's the one. I think you got that. Let's see. Horizontal bowing, I explained that. That's clear. Yeah. And when I've got this passage that starts measure 48, and I got you going between the noisy horizontal bow sounds and the Pitts harmonics, I was sort of thinking you could maybe do like a heart Pitts. So with the left hand, so you could be doing both things at once. You go heart Pitts. You see what I'm saying? So that way you can keep your right hand just devoted to doing the noise sound. Your left hand's got your nice heart Pitts. Bam. And you're making your nice noise sounds with your right hand. That's kind of what I was thinking there. That's the passage starting at measure 48. And yeah, the thing at the very end measures 60 to the end. The arrow, the Pitts with the arrow. I mean, you kind of hear on the demo a little bit what I'm talking about, but it's just sort of like I have the notes that I want you to use. And really, it's just a not intrusive texture. Doesn't have to be in time. Kind of sporadic. Just the music's happening with the guitar and the piano, and you just sort of every once in a while throw in a couple Pittses. But I want them to be quiet. They're not supposed to be really intense. It's like just a little sort of patter of Pittsness as at the very end of your part as the music sort of comes to a close. So that is, I think, everything. Apologize for the rather crude demonstration, but I hope this has been helpful. And above all, you're interpreting the stuff that I wrote, and you don't have to do it exactly, how it sounded. And I mean, I'm sort of trying to figure out the best way to notate this stuff. So I know that my notation is not perfect, and I would say, the most important thing to use is the demo. That's the sound, right? And then my notation is trying to capture that sound as best I can, give you some instructions to make it, and then these videos maybe give you some further insight into the physicality of how I'm trying to get some of those sounds. And then you can triangulate between all of that and just try to come up with the best way to do it on your instrument and to make it musical in your own way. I mean, it's really it's kind of a lyrical solo line, I think, in a way, but it's like a lyrical solo line that's heavily infused with these noise sounds. Also, let's talk about this at another point, but definitely want you to be amplified and with reverb because I think I like that having some reverb and amplification on these noise sounds because it gives them bigger presence to me. It makes them they're both a little warmer but still harsh. It's like a warmer harshness in a way, which I kind of like for this piece. So we could talk about the best way to do that. I mean, I'm thinking either a pickup or maybe miking it or something. But anyway, we'll talk about that. So there you go. Signing out. See you soon. Thanks.